Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in every person's life when the version of themselves they've been just isn't enough anymore. The truth is, most people are addicted to being seen. They want the applause, the likes, the followers. They want to be recognized for who they are now, but refuse to go into the shadows long enough to become who they're meant to be. You cannot transform in the spotlight. The spotlight exposes, but the shadows are where you build, ChatGPT said. Sure, here are 6 keynotes. You must disappear to transform. Visibility without value leads to vanity. The real work happens in the dark. Transformation requires death to the old self. Don't return until you have results. Discipline is the bridge between vision and victory. You must disappear to transform. Most people are obsessed with staying visible. They think that if they're not constantly posting, talking, showing up in rooms, and being seen, they're somehow falling behind. But here's the paradox. Real growth doesn't happen in public. It happens in private. It happens when you step back, when you detach, when you strip away every layer of identity that was built for survival, but not for significance. You cannot transform into the person you were destined to be while still clinging to the image the world applauds. Disappearing isn't about running away, it's about retreating with purpose. It's about creating the space necessary to rebuild without distraction, without noise, without applause. Disappearing doesn't mean quitting. It doesn't mean giving up. It means becoming unavailable to the things that no longer serve the future version of yourself. It means becoming invisible to the people who only know how to relate to your past. It's the strategic withdrawal that champions use to rise. When a seed goes into the ground, it disappears. No one sees it. No one claps for it. It doesn't look like growth. In fact, it looks like nothing's happening. But in that darkness, in that silence, the seed is breaking open. It's dying to what it was so that it can become what it was always meant to be. Transformation demands incubation. You don't see butterflies doing press tours from inside the cocoon. That's a process of complete metamorphosis, and it happens away from the eyes of the world. So many people want to fly, but they're not willing to disappear. They want transformation, but they fear obscurity. But obscurity is where the blueprint is rewritten. That's where the identity is recoded. You have to be willing to look like nothing is happening in order for everything to happen. The world has tricked us into thinking that visibility is value. That if you're not seen, you're not relevant. But the most valuable work, the kind that lasts generations, is forged in hidden places. When you choose to disappear, you reclaim your focus. You get to drown out the voices that keep you small, that reinforce your limitations. You get to examine your own thoughts without interference. You can build routines without performing for anyone else. You can develop discipline without relying on motivation. And most importantly, you can confront the version of yourself that you've been dragging around, out of habit, out of fear, out of guilt, and decide that it no longer fits. That version can't go where you're headed. It was useful for a season, but it's expired. And if you don't get quiet enough to see that, you'll keep wearing an outdated identity and wondering why your results don't change. Disappearance is not about isolation. It's about incubation. It's where your calling matures, where your confidence is built in truth, not in likes, not in hype, not in external approval. It's where you stop negotiating with your destiny. You stop explaining your purpose to people who were never assigned to understand it. You stop waiting for permission. You build, you study, you sacrifice, you sweat, you elevate. You learn how to keep promises to yourself when nobody's watching. Because if you can be trusted in private, you can be trusted in power. Disappearing teaches you what really matters. It reveals where your security has been. If you've been depending on praise to validate you, The silence will expose that. If you've been dependent on the crowd to fuel your energy, the solitude will reveal your emptiness. And that's a good thing, because when you get real with yourself in the absence of the crowd, you finally find out what you're made of. You begin to draw strength from something deeper, something eternal, something unshakable, and when you return, because you will return, you're not coming back the same, you're coming back transformed, not rebranded, rebuilt. But that doesn't happen unless you disappear. Visibility without value leads to vanity. We live in an age where visibility is often mistaken for success. The world celebrates those who are seen the most, heard the loudest, and followed by the masses. But being seen is not the same as being significant, and too often, people chase the spotlight before they've built anything worth shining a light on. When your focus is visibility over value, you trade substance for spectacle. You start performing instead of producing. You start measuring your worth by attention instead of impact. And that path leads straight to vanity, where image is everything and identity is lost. Vanity is the trap of trying to look successful instead of becoming successful. It's putting more energy into perception than purpose. You're doing the work, but not for transformation, for validation. You show up in the right rooms, say the right things, even dress the part. But deep down, there's a disconnect, because the applause you're getting is for a version of you that's playing safe. A version of you that's chosen style over strength. You become a mirror for other people's expectations rather than a manifestation of your own calling. This pursuit of visibility creates shallow success. Success that depends on keeping up appearances. Success that's fragile, that crumbles when the likes slow down or the crowd moves on. And that's not legacy. That's not mastery. That's marketing without meaning. When you build your identity around being seen, your value rises and falls with other people's opinions. That's a dangerous game to play, because the same crowd that praises you today will criticize you tomorrow. And if your self-worth is tied to that praise, then your confidence is always on the edge of collapse. Value, on the other hand, is built in the unseen. It's forged through discipline, through skill, through results that speak louder than words. Value is when you've done the work, when you've earned the wisdom, when you've mastered the craft. And whether people see you or not, you know who you are. You're not moved by trends or clout because your foundation is solid. You're not in a race to be known. You're committed to being undeniable. And when you're undeniable, visibility is a consequence, not a goal. There's nothing wrong with being visible, but visibility should amplify your value, not replace it. You should never have to manufacture relevance. When you've built something real, something excellent, something powerful, the world will take notice. But if you rush to be seen before you're ready, you'll sabotage your own growth. You'll build a platform your character can't sustain, and eventually the truth will catch up. You weren't created to be hollow. You were created to carry weight, to bring something meaningful to the table, to solve real problems, to shift atmospheres, to carry a message that transforms lives, not just entertains minds. But to do that, you've got to get rooted. You've got to go deep before you go wide. You've got to care more about mastery than metrics, more about calling than clout, more about results than recognition. If you choose value first, visibility will come. And when it does, it will come with longevity, with credibility, with power. But if you chase visibility without value, all you'll be left with is vanity. And vanity fades fast. The real work happens in the dark. Everyone wants the results. Everyone wants the success, the transformation, the applause. But what they don't see, What they refuse to see is the cost. They don't see the hours behind the scenes, the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices made in silence, because the real work doesn't happen on the stage. It happens in the struggle. It happens when no one's watching. The transformation that changes your life doesn't begin when people start noticing you. It begins when you start doing the work no one else will. The dark is where you face yourself. No filters, no distractions, no curated posts. Just you, your vision, your discipline, and your decisions. It's in the dark that excuses die. It's in the dark that clarity is born, because when the lights are off and there's no audience, there's no one left to impress, only someone to become. In the dark, you confront the habits that have been holding you back. You wrestle with the laziness, the fear, the procrastination, the doubt. You either conquer them or they conquer you, and no one else can do that for you. The world wants to reward performance, but legacy is built in preparation. What separates the masters from the mediocre is what they do when no one's clapping. When there's no paycheck, no recognition, no external reason to keep going, they still do the work. They sharpen their craft, study their field, push through pain, hold themselves accountable. Because they know something most people don't. Public elevation follows private excellence. Don't get caught up in trying to look ready. Be ready, and being ready requires rehearsal in the dark. It requires practice that's boring, lonely, and thankless. It requires repeating the fundamentals until they become automatic. It requires resisting the temptation to show off progress before it's matured. The dark is not your enemy. It's your training ground. It's where you're forged. It's where your calling is proven and your commitment is tested. If you skip the dark, you sabotage the process. You might gain attention, but you won't have depth. You might get opportunities, but you won't have the capacity to hold them. You'll get in rooms you're not ready for. You'll face challenges you didn't train for, and what looked like a blessing will crush you, all because you wanted light before you earned weight. The ones who last, the ones who carry power, are the ones who have been through the dark and didn't quit. They kept building when no one believed in them. They kept showing up when nothing was working. They kept investing in themselves when no one else saw the vision. That kind of discipline doesn't just create success. It creates substance. It builds a version of you that no storm can shake. And when the light finally comes, you don't flinch. You're not thrown off by praise or pressure, because you didn't grow in the spotlight, you grew in the shadows. You've been here before. You've already put in the work. Transformation requires death to the old self. You cannot carry the future while clinging to the past. Too many people want change without cost. They want the benefits of transformation without the burial of their current identity. But real transformation, lasting, deep, undeniable transformation, always starts with death. The death of who you were. The death of what you believed. The death of the habits, patterns, and mindsets that built your current reality. And death is never comfortable. It's not glamorous. It's painful. It's messy, but it's necessary. You have to kill the excuses. You have to kill the small thinking. You have to kill the false identities you adopted just to survive. You have to kill the part of you that seeks validation from the wrong people, that makes decisions out of fear, that stays stuck because it's safer than becoming. The version of you that complains, avoids, and blames that version must die. Because transformation is not behavior modification, it's identity replacement. You don't just start doing different things, you become a different person. Death to the old self doesn't mean dishonoring your past. It means recognizing that your past cannot lead your future. Who you were got you here. Who you need to become will take you there, and the two cannot exist in the same space. That's why transformation is so difficult, because you're not just adding new habits, you're shedding old skin. You're letting go of what's familiar. You're walking away from comfort, and comfort doesn't go quietly. It screams, it negotiates, it tempts you to go back. But the call to transform will never let you stay the same. The process is not instant. It's daily death. It's choosing every morning to act from your future identity, not your former one. It's refusing to speak like the old you. It's refusing to think like the old you. It's refusing to operate from the patterns that kept you average. You literally have to break your agreement with who you used to be. No more protecting the pain. No more romanticizing the struggle. No more rehearsing the story that kept you small. There will be resistance. Your old self will fight for survival. It will remind you of every failure, every insecurity, every limitation. It will try to convince you that nothing really changes, but you silence that voice by acting in alignment with who you want to be. You move forward when it still feels shaky. You speak truth when doubt screams. You show up in faith, not fear, and over time the voice gets quieter, the new identity gets stronger. Until one day, that old version of you is unrecognizable, not because it disappeared on its own, but because you killed it. Transformation is brutal before it's beautiful. You'll lose people. You'll lose comfort. You'll lose old versions of yourself you once took pride in, but what you gain is infinitely more valuable. You gain clarity, you gain alignment, you gain strength that isn't based on circumstances, and you begin to operate from truth instead of trauma, from vision instead of history, from conviction instead of convenience. That's where real power begins, but none of it happens unless you're willing to lay the old you to rest. Don't return until you have results. Too many people rush to be seen before they're ready. They get a glimpse of progress, a little bit of momentum, and immediately want to showcase it. But unfinished work, when exposed too early, loses its power. It invites opinions that can distort your focus. It puts pressure on a process that's still unfolding. And most dangerously, it feeds the ego just enough to make you feel done, when you're only halfway there. That's why the wise don't return just because they feel different. They return when they are different, when the work is complete, when the results speak louder than any introduction ever could. There's a time to grind and a time to reveal. But those who make the greatest impact understand that premature exposure leads to fragile identity. You don't come back to prove anything. You come back to demonstrate what's already been proven in private. Real transformation is evident. It doesn't need to be explained. It doesn't need applause. It carries weight. It shifts the room, and it only comes from a commitment to finishing the process, no matter how long it takes. The process is often lonely. It's repetitive. It's unseen, but it's sacred. It's where the real change happens, not just in what you do, but in who you become and you can't fake that. You can fake language, you can fake style, you can fake temporary momentum, but you can't fake fruit. You can't fake results. You either have them or you don't. So don't break the silence with noise. Break it with undeniable evidence. With fruit that proves the root, with transformation that commands respect, not demands attention, people will try to pull you out early. They'll ask where you've been, question your silence, tempt you to show your hand before it's played. Don't fall for it. Stay hidden, stay building, let them forget you. Let them count you out. Because when you return with results, you won't need to reintroduce yourself. You won't need to convince anyone. Your work will do all the talking, and the version of you that returns will be so elevated, so refined, so unshakable that the same rooms that once overlooked you will now require you. Don't return to be seen. Don't return to be accepted. Return with so much evidence that your presence becomes the proof. Results are the loudest response you'll ever give to doubt, delay, or denial, so don't show up empty. Show up *ready*. And don't come back until your transformation is undeniable. Discipline is the bridge between vision and victory. You can have all the vision in the world, but without discipline, your dreams will remain just that, dreams. Vision is the spark. It's the fire that ignites your passion, that shows you where you could go, who you could become. But without discipline, that vision will never become reality. Discipline is the bridge that connects your imagination to your outcomes. It's what turns thoughts into action, ideas into results, and it's the one thing that will separate those who succeed from those who only fantasize about success. Vision alone doesn't win battles. Desire doesn't win championships. Inspiration doesn't build empires. It's discipline that gets you out of bed when you don't feel like it. It's discipline that pushes you to work even when no one is watching. It's discipline that keeps you moving forward when the initial excitement wears off, when the novelty fades, and when the obstacles mount. Discipline is what keeps you consistent when the world is full of distractions, excuses, and temptations to quit. Without discipline, your vision is just a dream. Discipline turns that dream into a plan. It turns your ambitions into actions. It's easy to get excited about an idea in the moment, to feel passionate about a goal. But it's discipline that keeps the fire burning long after the excitement fades. It's the daily habits, the routines, the sacrifices, the small, seemingly insignificant actions that compound over time to produce extraordinary results. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It's following through on commitments to yourself, even when it's hard, even when the world tells you it's easier to give up. Without discipline, even the best ideas will wither. A great vision is only as good as the actions you take to bring it to life. And those actions require sacrifice, they require focus, they require an unwavering commitment to doing the work, no matter how mundane, no matter how difficult. Discipline is what helps you push through the pain, the discomfort, the self-doubt. It's what makes you rise each day and grind toward your goal even when the progress feels slow. The road from vision to victory is long. It's filled with challenges. There will be days when you want to give up. There will be moments of frustration when it feels like you're getting nowhere, but it's discipline that ensures you keep showing up. It's discipline that ensures you don't quit when things get tough. It's discipline that builds the muscle of persistence, of resilience, of grit. And it's discipline that ultimately brings victory. So, if you have a vision, if you have a dream, ask yourself, are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to embrace the discomfort of discipline? Because the gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't bridged by wishful thinking or external circumstances. It's bridged by your commitment to show up, do the work, and remain consistent, no matter what. That's the true secret to turning vision into victory. Transformation is not a simple or comfortable journey. It requires disappearing from the noise, working in the shadows, and making hard decisions that many are not willing to make. But those who embrace the process, the silence, the struggle, and the sacrifice, are the ones who come out on the other side unrecognizable, not just to the world, but to themselves. The true power doesn't come from being seen, it comes from being made *. If you want something extraordinary, you have to be willing to disappear for a while. You have to be willing to let go of the person you were to become the person you're meant to be. And when you do, when you've done the work, when you've transformed in private, when you return with undeniable results, you will be unstoppable. So, step into the dark, do the work, and come back with results so undeniable that the world can no longer ignore the power you've cultivated in the silence. Don't just chase success, *, build it * in the shadows, and when it's time, rise with unshakable confidence and a legacy that cannot be denied.